I'm back with Chris Gull, part 4.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about acting,
Yes.
the theatre of life.
Yes. So,
Take your mask off and talk.
so I think, as I said in part 3, I was going to be an actor, and then I ended up being a dentist.
As you do.
As you do. And I trained to be a dentist in Sheffield. And my friend from school, Mel Smith, after Oxford, ended up being an associate director at the Crucible. So I spent half my life at the dental hospital and half my life at the Crucible, and got to know lots of people there concerned with the theatre. I'd always loved the theatre, and it meant when I moved to Brighton, and being so near to London.
And why did you move to Brighton?
Because it was a good place to come as a gay man. It had a reputation of being... Divorced women and gay men used to come to Brighton.
Not very good for the divorced women, was it?
I don't know. I think there were still plenty of pickings. But I think it was about making new lives and things.
Yeah.
But that was... at the time, I could have had jobs in London, but I'd gone to school in London.
You wanted your own practice.
Yeah, and well, eventually, but it wasn't even so much making that decision because of that. It was my parents didn't live that far away, and I love my parents, but I didn't want to be living back at home again.
Yeah, of course.
But Brighton wasn't that far away from it, so it was, and it was a good job to come to. And it's by the sea. I love being by the sea.
And the seagulls.
Yeah, the seagulls. Of course, that's my initials as well. So that.
Oh yes, seagull, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ha ha ha.
Once you know that, you never forget what my name is.
Yeah.
Well, unless you think it's Gill or something like that, it's an easy mistake to make. So, I kind of just grew up with lots of actors and with the theatre, and then fast forwarding through lots of other things that I was interested and did in my life, I ended up meeting and falling in love with an actor and director.
Which is Gary.
Which is Gary,
Yeah.
which is 25 years ago.
25?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he, at that time, was in Cardiff. He was a graduate of the Welsh College of Music and Drama.
Is he Welsh?
No, but that's where he went to college. He's 12 years younger than me.
Uh-huh.
And he was running a theatre and education company at that point.
Okay.
He eventually moved to Brighton, and he ran the Marlborough Theatre for a while. Mm-hmm. He put on the last production at the Gardner Arts Centre, which was a production of I've forgotten the name, Therese Verkamp.
I've read the book.
Which he acted in as well, and designed and made all the costumes.
Oh.
He did a production for a charity I was running then called Brighton Cares, which raised money through entertainment. It was an HIV hardship fund. And he did a production of Torch Song Trilogy with Dave Lynn in it, which lots of people in Brighton know Dave Lynn. This was all in the early 90s when I first met him.
Okay.
Then he ran the Marlborough Theatre for a while. And then we looked at... Because the theatre scene in Brighton is actually very strange and suffer. Although we have the festival here...
We've only got one theatre.
Well, we've got one theatre that... Well, we used to have the Gardner as well.
Yeah.
At Sussex University, which is now reopened as the Attenborough.
Yeah.
But that's still a little bit out of town.
Yeah.
And the Theatre Royal does...
pre-London.
Well, pre-London or tours, or people who've been on Big Brother or whatever it is. It is what it is, but it's not a great theatre scene. We've got Chichester, we've got interesting things happening in Worthing and further along the coast the other way. But Brighton itself, lots of theatre professionals here, but they don't work in Brighton.
So Laurence Olivier used to live here.
Yeah, but I mean now there are
a lot of famous people,
and not even if they're famous, they're jobbing actors, directors who live in Brighton but don't have the opportunity to work in Brighton. So we looked at doing that. And the first place we looked at, and we're 2 days away from acquiring, was the Old Music Library opposite the Corn Exchange.
Yeah.
and we were going to put a theatre upstairs and a buffet restaurant downstairs as the enabling project. But then we got gazumped by Coat,
Oh, yes, yes.
which is there now,
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
you know, which is fine. That would have been very nice.
Yeah.
And we eventually ended up opening the theatre and the cafe bar in the old Methodist church on London Road,
Yeah,
which
the
became
Emporium.
and then became
Some 88 or something.
88, yeah, because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
88 London Road.
And that failed.
Well, it didn't really. Gary and I were involved in it from the beginning and made it all happen. Unfortunately, around the time that my mother went into hospice, Gary got very ill and needed my attention, so we withdrew from it. And yes, unfortunately, then the cafe didn't do very well, and that was what really paid
Bad
the rent.
management,
And,
yes.
and well, we won't get into that. But,
Yeah. And that's
yeah.
where I met you, in fact.
Yes, so that's where we know each other from. So that's kind of been my my love affair with theatre.
What about theatre in Valencia, your
Well,
new home?
We've been to a few things. It does have a lot of theatre, and it has a month-long festival like we do here in Brighton.
Oh, really? Is it international?
Yes. There's also a puppet theatre there. Very successful puppet theatre.
When do they have the festival?
In July. We just had it.
It would be quite hot then.
Yeah, and a lot of it is outdoors as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're talking about theatres. Obviously, we have an outdoor theatre here in Brighton now. The Boat up in,
I've never been.
and that seems to be doing quite well.
Good.
But yeah, so some of the things in Valencia where I now live, I don't know if we got into that.
No, we
earlier on.
haven't. No, that'll have to
I-
be another episode.
Yeah, so we moved to
Not
Valencia.
tonight, though.
No. My next trip over, we'll do some more. But yeah, so the cultural scene in Valencia is very good. But a lot of it is in Valenciano, which is the local dialect, which is like...
Well, it's a kind of Catalan, isn't it?
It's a bit like Catalan, so it's as much French as it is Spanish.
Yes, yes. Oh, really?
Yes.
Why were the French? Oh, no, we won't get into that. We'll talk about Valencia another time.
The reason it's the Pyrenees, it's not that far up to the north before you get into France.
That's true. That's
into
true.
Basque country.
Yes.
So more for later. So.
Yes, absolutely. Well, have a wonderful time at Pride tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I'm delighted to...
On Saturday, but that doesn't
Oh,
really
yes,
matter
yes,
because
yes.
This is going out after Pride.
Yes,
probably.
but you're going to party tonight after the quiz show, I'm sure.
Maybe. Catch up on my sleep.
Yeah, have a good time.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
And you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.